The stars looked cold and distant from the observation deck of Earth's orbital command station. Commander Day-Ho stood with his hands clasped behind his back, his dark uniform absorbing the dim light. His eyes reflected the distant pinpoints of light that represented thousands of worlds that had turned their backs on humanity long ago. "Commander," a voice called from behind him. "The final systems check is complete." Day-Ho turned to see Chief Engineer Sun-Mi approaching, her tablet displaying a green status report. Her usually calm face showed signs of tension around her eyes. "The retribution is ready then?" Day-Ho asked. Sun-Mi nodded. "Yes. All void drive systems are functioning at optimal levels. The light-absorbing hull is performing beyond expectations. In tests, we remained completely undetected at a distance of just 3 kilometers from Union sensor arrays." Day-Ho allowed himself a small smile. For 300 years, Earth had been developing in secret. 3 centuries since the Galactic Union had made first contact, assessed humanity as primitive and unworthy of consideration, and left a single monitoring station in the outer solar system. The Union had no idea what they had awakened in humanity. The determination, the drive, the burning need to prove themselves. "And the weapon systems?" Day-Ho asked. Sun-Mi's expression darkened. "The gravitational lances are terrifying, Commander. In the Jupiter moon tests, they cut through 30 kilometers of solid rock. Nothing in the known galaxy can stop them." An alarm chimed softly. On Sun-Mi's tablet, she looked down and all color drained from her face. "What is it?" Day-Ho stepped closer. "Emergency transmission from New Terra Colony." Her voice shook slightly. It's gone, Commander." Day-Ho felt as if the artificial gravity had suddenly increased. "Explain." Sun-Mi's fingers flew across the screen, bringing up the distress signal. Union ships appeared without warning. They declared the planet was needed for a new hyperspace route junction. When the colonists refused to evacuate, she swallowed hard. "They called it cleansing, Commander. 50 million people. Gone." Day-Ho's hands clenched into fists. 300 years of careful planning, of hiding humanity's true progress, of building the Void Dark Fleet in secret. And still the Union treated humans like insects to be brushed aside. "Get me Admiral Taiwan," he ordered, his voice deadly quiet. Admiral Taiwan's face filled the screen in the command center. His weathered features showed no emotion, but his eyes burned with cold fury. "The reports are confirmed," he said before Day-Ho could speak. "New Terra is gone. Union plasma bombardment. No survivors." The command center fell silent. 20 high-ranking officers stared at the screen, the reality of what had happened sinking in. "They didn't even declare war," Captain Jisoo said from her station. "No warning, no negotiation." Admiral Taiwan nodded once. "The Union doesn't consider us worth the formality of a declaration of war. We are nothing to them." He paused. "Or so they believe." Day-Ho stepped forward. "Admiral, the retribution is ready for deployment. Request permission to—" "No." The Admiral's voice cut through the room. "Not just the retribution. The time for testing is over. The time for hiding is over." His gaze swept across the officers. "Activation Protocol Omega. Deploy the entire Void Dark Fleet." A collective intake of breath filled the room. Protocol Omega. Full war footing. No more secrecy. "Sir?" Defense Minister Han spoke up from the back of the room. "The fleet is ready, but are we sure this is the right response? The Union spans thousands of worlds. We would be declaring war on most of known space." Admiral Taiwan's expression didn't change. "They declared war on us when they murdered 50 million of our people. The only difference is that we're going to respond in kind." He leaned forward. "And Minister, make no mistake, the Union believes they know humanity's capabilities. They are wrong. The Void Dark Fleet had been Earth's most closely guarded secret for 2 centuries. 500 warships constructed in the shadowed regions of the solar system. Ships designed with a single purpose: to bring overwhelming force against any threat to humanity's survival." Commander Day-Ho walked the length of the Retribution's bridge. The neural interface circlet rested lightly on his temples, connecting his mind directly to the ship's systems. Through it, he could feel every aspect of the massive vessel. The hum of the void drives, the silent readiness of the weapon systems, the perfect darkness of the outer hull that absorbed all light and energy. Neural link established. Reported, the ship's AI. All systems online. The fleet is awaiting your command, Commander. Through the neural link, Daeho could sense the other ships of the fleet. 500 void ships, each a masterpiece of human ingenuity, each capable of bringing destruction on a scale the Union had never witnessed. Sunmi approached, her engineer's uniform now replaced with combat gear. Engineering reports ready. Commander, all ships show green status across the board. Thank you, Chief Engineer. Daeho turned to the tactical display. It showed the Union's territory, vast, sprawling across the galaxy, complacent in its power. Target selection? Admiral Tae-wan has designated the Proxima Centauri hub world as our first target, Sunmi replied. It's their administrative center for this sector. Population 9 billion. Their main military command center is located there as well. Daeho nodded. A fitting first strike. And the fleet formation? Standard void emergence pattern. We'll appear simultaneously in high orbit. Surrounding the planet, they'll have no warning. The neural link hummed with incoming data as the fleet prepared for its first combat jump. Daeho could feel the readiness of his crew, the perfect functionality of his ship. Humanity had been preparing for this moment for generations. Incoming. Transmission from Admiral Tae-wan, announced the communications officer. The main screen activated, showing the Admiral standing on the bridge of the flagship Inevitable Darkness. Behind him, Earth grew smaller as the flagship moved into jump position. Commanders of the Void Dark Fleet, the Admiral addressed them all through the fleet-wide channel. Today we answer the Union's aggression. Today we show them that their assessment of humanity was fatally flawed. His voice was calm but carried iron resolve. Our mission is not conquest, not occupation. Our mission is extinction. The Union has shown they consider us unworthy of existence. We will return that judgment upon them. He paused, his eyes moving from screen to screen, connecting with each ship commander. No mercy. No survivors. This is the price of their arrogance. The transmission ended. Daeho turned to his bridge crew. Prepare for void jump, he ordered. Weapon systems to ready status. Target all major military installations and government centers. The Retribution's engines hummed as they built up energy for the jump. Around the ship, space itself seemed to darken as the void drive engaged. Daeho closed his eyes, feeling through the neural link as the other 499 ships of the fleet did the same. Earth had been dismissed, insulted, and now attacked. The Union was about to learn the cost of that mistake. Jump in 5 seconds, the navigation officer announced. 4, 3, 2, 1. Reality folded. The Retribution, along with the entire Void Dark Fleet, vanished from Earth's solar system. The hunt had begun. The void ships emerged from folded space like shadows appearing at sunset. One moment, the skies above Proxima Centauri 4 were clear. The next, 500 black vessels hung in orbit, their hulls drinking in all light that touched them. On the planet below, the Union's central hub world continued its business, unaware of what had appeared above them. Their detection systems showed nothing unusual. Their defensive grid remained inactive. 9 billion beings went about their day, not knowing it would be their last. Captain Jisoo stood on the bridge of the void ship Silent Judgment, her eyes fixed on the tactical display. The blue-green planet rotated slowly beneath them, its cities sparkling like jewels against the dark continents. All ships report successful emergence, her first officer said. No detection from planetary defenses. They are completely blind to our presence. Jisoo nodded. The light-absorbing hulls of the Void Fleet rendered them invisible to conventional sensors. It was one of humanity's many technological secrets, developed during 3 centuries of isolation. Deploy strike teams, she ordered. Target the primary military installation as planned. Throughout the fleet, similar orders were being given. 500 void ships disgorged smaller craft, each filled with soldiers in combat suits as dark as their mother ships. Jisoo turned to her squad, 12 elite soldiers who had trained for this mission for years. Remember your objectives. Place the quantum destabilizers at the exact coordinates. Timing is critical. The soldiers nodded, their faces grim and determined. They had all lost someone on New Terra. This was not just a military operation. It was vengeance. Science Officer Hyun-Ki monitored the assault from the flagship Inevitable Darkness. His console displayed dozens of data streams showing the positions of all strike teams. Admiral Taewon stood beside him, watching the operation unfold with cold precision. Union communication channels are showing normal traffic, Hyun-Ki reported. They have no idea we're here. The Admiral's face remained expressionless. How long until they notice something is wrong? Hyun-Ki checked his calculations. The first destabilizers will be activated in approximately 8 minutes. Once the gravitational lances fire, they will definitely notice. By then it will be too late. Admiral Taewon turned to the weapons officer. Prepare all lances for simultaneous discharge on my command. On the main view screen, the Union hub world continued to rotate peacefully. Its orbital stations bustled with activity. Ships came and went, carrying goods and passengers between the 1,000 worlds of the Union. None of them could see the dark fleet waiting above. Sir, Hyun-Ki said quietly, my calculations confirm that the combined effect of the quantum destabilizers and gravitational lances will create a cascading failure in the planet's core. The entire world will be destroyed. Admiral Taewon did not hesitate. 9 billion lives, less than a fifth of what they took from us at New Terra. He checked the chronometer. 5 minutes until the ground teams reach their positions. Captain, Jisoo moved through the Union military headquarters like a ghost. Her combat suit bent light around her, making her nearly invisible. The few Union security officers who sensed something wrong were quickly and silently neutralized by her team. They encountered little resistance. The Union had grown complacent after centuries of unchallenged dominance. Why maintain high security when no one dared oppose you? Central control room ahead, whispered Sergeant Kang through the team channel. 4 guards, standard positions. Jisoo signaled her team to surround the entrance. On my mark, 3, 2, 1. The team struck simultaneously. 4 guards dropped without a sound. The door slid open, revealing a large room filled with alien technicians monitoring various screens. What happened next was so fast that the Union personnel barely had time to register surprise. The human strike team materialized in their midst, neutralized everyone inside, and secured the facility in less than 30 seconds. Control room secured, Jisoo reported through her comlink. Beginning placement of quantum destabilizers. Her team worked quickly, placing the small devices at key structural points throughout the facility. Each destabilizer was about the size of a human fist but contained enough energy to disrupt matter at the quantum level. Placement complete, Jisoo announced as she activated the final device. Setting synchronized countdown, T-2 minutes. Return to extraction point, came the order from the flagship. All teams report successful placement. Gravitational lances will fire in exactly 120 seconds. Jisoo led her team back through the now silent corridors. Behind them, the quantum destabilizers hummed quietly, counting down to destruction. In orbit, Science Officer Hyun-Ki watched as the extraction shuttles returned to their motherships. Every strike team had completed their mission successfully. The quantum destabilizers were in place throughout the planet's defensive infrastructure. All teams recovered, he reported to Admiral Taewon. Countdown at 30 seconds. The Admiral nodded and opened a fleet-wide channel. This is Admiral Taewon to all ships. Prepare to fire gravitational lances on my command. After discharge, prepare for immediate void jump to secondary targets. Across 500 void ships, weapons officers readied their systems. The gravitational lances were humanity's most devastating weapon, capable of slicing through any known material by manipulating gravity itself. 15 seconds, Hyun-Ki announced. On the planet below, the first alarms were finally beginning to sound. Some particularly sensitive Union instruments had detected anomalies near their major installations. Too little, too late. 10 seconds. Admiral Taiwan watched the countdown with grim satisfaction. Send a narrow-beam transmission to their central government. I want them to know who is responsible for what happens next. The communications officer nodded. Transmission sent, sir. 5 seconds. On the planet, confusion was spreading. Security forces rushed to investigate reports of intruders. Government officials received alarming messages about unidentified energy signatures. 3, 2, 1, quantum destabilizers activated. Across the planet, 200 small devices simultaneously disrupted the quantum stability of their surroundings. Defensive shields flickered and died. Power systems failed, communications went silent. Fire, ordered Admiral Taiwan. 500 gravitational lances fired as one. From the void ships, beams of distorted space cut through the defenseless planet. There was no explosion, no flash of light. The lances were invisible to the naked eye. Their effect, however, was catastrophic. The beams sliced through the planet's crust, mantle, and into its core. Matter simply ceased to exist along their paths, cut away from reality itself. On his console, Hyun Ki watched the readings spike. Core destabilization has begun. Planetary breakup estimated in 8 minutes. Throughout the Union Command Center on the surface, panicked aliens rushed to escape. Many had never even seen a human before. They had no idea why this was happening to them. The transmission from Admiral Taiwan played on repeat through their emergency channels. This is Earth. This is the price of your arrogance. Captain Jisoo watched from the bridge of the Silent Judgment as the planet began to break apart. Below them, massive fissures spread across continents. Oceans boiled away as magma erupted from the deepening cracks. All Union ships attempting to escape are being neutralized, reported her tactical officer. No distress calls are getting through. Jisoo nodded. Prepare for void jump to secondary target. Around the dying planet, the Void Fleet prepared to move on to their next objective. This was only the beginning. The Union spanned 1,000 worlds, and humanity intended to visit each one. As the flagship Inevitable Darkness prepared to jump, Admiral Taiwan received a desperate transmission from the Union's Supreme Council. Why? Asked a trembling alien voice. Why are you doing this? The Admiral's reply was cold and final. New Terra. 50 million humans. Remember that name in whatever afterlife awaits you. The transmission cut off. The void ships vanished into folded space, leaving behind a disintegrating world. Humanity's vengeance had only just begun. News of Proxima Centauri's destruction spread through the galaxy like a shockwave. The complete obliteration of the Union's central hub world was unprecedented. 9 billion lives extinguished in minutes. The most advanced defensive systems in known space bypassed as if they never existed, and it was only the beginning. Fleet Commander Min Su stood on the bridge of the void ship Relentless Justice, studying the tactical display. 7 major Union military outposts blinked red on the map, marked as priority targets. All ships report ready, Commander, his first officer said. Synchronized void jumps will commence on your order. Min Su nodded. The second wave of attacks would hit multiple targets simultaneously, preventing the Union from concentrating their defenses. It was a strategy designed to maximize confusion and panic. The Union is scrambling their fleets, reported the sensor officer. They have established defensive perimeters around their remaining administrative centers. Min Su almost smiled. Can they detect our ships yet? Negative, Commander. They are firing blind detection pulses into empty space, hoping to get lucky. Our void technology remains invisible to their sensors. Min Su opened a channel to the 7 strike groups under his command. This is Fleet Commander Min Su. Execute jump sequence. Remember your objectives. No Union military installation is to remain operational. No Union warship is to escape. Earth has spoken. Extinction is the sentence. The void ships vanished, folding space around themselves to appear instantly at their targets light years away. On the diplomatic vessel, Last Opportunity, Ambassador Ju Ri prepared to meet with representatives from several minor alien civilizations. These were species that had been subjugated or marginalized by the Union, forced to exist on the periphery of galactic society. Her aide, a young man named Do Yun, looked nervous. "Are you sure this is wise, Ambassador? Meeting with potential enemies during active military operations?" Ju Ri straightened her formal diplomatic uniform. "They are not our enemies, Do Yun. They are potential allies. The Union has oppressed many species over the centuries. We are offering them a chance to avoid sharing the Union's fate." The meeting chamber door slid open, revealing a diverse group of alien representatives. Some had tentacles, others multiple, eyes or unusual skin colors. All shared one thing: wariness. Ju Ri stepped forward, her expression calm but firm. "Welcome aboard the Last Opportunity. I am Ambassador Ju Ri of Earth. I appreciate your courage in accepting our invitation." Tall, slender alien with blue-tinged skin spoke first. "We had little choice. Your fleet has destroyed a core Union world and is attacking military bases across the galaxy. What do humans want from us?" Ju Ri gestured for everyone to sit. "What we want is simple: information on Union strongholds, defense systems, and communication networks. In exchange, your worlds will be spared in the coming purge." Murmurs spread through the gathered aliens. Another representative, short with 4 arms, stood up. "You speak of purge. Does Earth intend to destroy the entire Union?" "Yes," Ju Ri replied without hesitation. "The Union dismissed humanity as primitive savages, unworthy of respect. When they destroyed one of our colony worlds, they sealed their fate. We do not seek to replace the Union. We do not want your territories or resources. We want the Union erased from existence." Silence filled the room. The aliens exchanged glances, a mixture of fear and something else. Hope, perhaps. "The Union has ruled through fear for too long," said the blue-skinned alien slowly. "Many of us have suffered under their dominance." He paused. "I will provide the information you seek about the defenses in my sector." One by one, the other representatives agreed. The so-called unity of the Galactic Union had always been maintained through force and intimidation. Now, facing a greater threat, that fragile alliance was crumbling. Ju Ri nodded in satisfaction. "You have made a wise choice. Earth remembers its friends." Lieutenant Han Bin led his special operations team through the darkened corridors of the Union Research Facility. Their mission was different from the pure destruction being wrought elsewhere. They were here to capture, not kill. "Target is 2 levels down," whispered Sergeant Yuna through the secure comm channel. 4 guards at the entrance. Lab still active despite evacuation orders. Han Bin signaled his team to move forward. Their combat suits bent light around them, rendering them nearly invisible. The Union guards never saw what hit them. Inside the lab, 3 alien scientists worked frantically trying to download data before the facility was abandoned. They froze when the door slid open, revealing nothing at first. Then the air shimmered as 6 human soldiers deactivated their camouflage. "Dr. Zivkor?" Han Bin addressed the tallest of the 3 aliens. "You will come with us. Your research on quantum communications is now property of Earth." The alien scientist backed away. I know nothing about weapons. I am a theoretical physicist." Han Bin kept his weapon trained on the scientist. "We know exactly who you are, Doctor. You developed the targeting system used to destroy New Terra. 50 million humans died because of your work." The other 2 scientists tried to run. They were quickly subdued. Han Bin approached Zivkor, who had collapsed into a chair. "Why capture me?" the alien asked. "Why not just kill everyone like at Proxima Centauri?" Han Bin's voice was cold. "Because you have information we need. The complete design of the Union's quantum communication network. Once we understand it, we can destroy it. And when that happens, every Union ship and base in the galaxy will be isolated and blind." He gestured to his team. "Secure them for transport. Download all research data." As his soldiers worked, Han Bin received an update through his neural link. Fleet Commander Min Su's simultaneous strikes had been successful. 7 major Union military bases had been destroyed. Hundreds of Union warships eliminated. The Union was beginning to understand what they faced, but it was already too late. Admiral Taewon reviewed the reports from all battlefronts on the bridge of the inevitable darkness. So far, the campaign was proceeding exactly as planned. The Union forces were scattered, unable to coordinate an effective defense against an enemy they couldn't detect. Science Officer Hyun-ki approached with a tablet. "Sir, we've analyzed the data from Lieutenant Hanbin's team. The Union's quantum communication network is more vulnerable than we thought. It relies on a central hub hidden inside an artificial construct at the galaxy's center." The Admiral studied the information. A single point of failure. Overconfidence was always their weakness. He looked up. "Can we target it?" Hyun-ki nodded slowly. "Yes, but it won't be easy. The hub is protected by an artificial black hole. Any ship that approaches would be torn apart by gravitational forces, unless that ship could manipulate gravity itself," the Admiral said thoughtfully. "Our gravitational lances might be modified for this purpose." "It would be a one-way mission." "Sir," Hyun-ki pointed out, "even with our technology, no ship could survive both the approach and the escape." Admiral Taewon was silent for a moment. Then he opened a communication channel. "Get me Commander Dae-ho on the Retribution. I have a special mission for him, as..." The connection was established. The Admiral turned back to the galactic map. Dozens of former Union worlds now showed as neutralized. Hundreds more remained. "Prepare for Operation Blackout," he ordered the bridge crew. "Once we sever their quantum network, the real slaughter begins." Throughout known space, the void ships continued their grim work. The Union, which had ruled the galaxy for 1,000 years, was learning a harsh lesson. Humanity had not spent 3 centuries of isolation and idleness. They had prepared, advancing their technology far beyond anything the Union could imagine. And now, the price of the Union's arrogance would be extinction. 6 months into the war, the galaxy burned. Hundreds of Union worlds had fallen to the Void Dark Fleet. Union military forces were in disarray, unable to mount an effective defense against an enemy they could barely detect. But the Union was old and vast. It had ruled known space for millennia, and even a dying beast could still bite. Captain Kite crouched behind a fallen pillar as energy bolts scorched the air above his head. Half his strike team was already dead, their bodies scattered across the Union Sanctuary World's central plaza. "Pull back to secondary positions," he ordered through his neural link. "They have some kind of new detection system. Our stealth tech isn't working properly." His remaining soldiers retreated in good order, laying down covering fire as they moved. The Union defenders pressed forward, firing strange weapons that seemed to disturb the light-bending properties of the human combat suits. Kite signaled his orbiting void ship. "Emergency extraction required. The mission is compromised." Repeat. The Union has developed countermeasures against void technology. As the extraction shuttles descended through the atmosphere, Kite looked at the dead humans on the plaza. First blood to the Union in this war. It would not go unanswered. Engineer. Sunmi stared at the damaged combat suit in her laboratory aboard the research vessel Infinite Potential. The suit's light-bending material was warped and partially melted. "Phase disruption weapons," she muttered. "They're targeting the specific quantum frequency our void technology operates on." Admiral Taewon stood beside her, his face grim. "Can you counter it?" Sunmi ran her fingers over the damaged material. "Yes, but not by trying to make our current technology more resistant. We need to evolve beyond what they can detect." She turned to a holoscreen displaying complex equations. "I've been working on a new approach. Instead of just bending light around our ships and suits, we shift their phase entirely." "Explain," the Admiral demanded. "Everything in our universe exists in a specific dimensional phase," Sunmi said. "Our current void tech simply makes objects difficult to detect within that phase. But what if we could temporarily shift our ships and soldiers into a slightly different dimensional plane? They wouldn't just be invisible, they would partially exist in another reality altogether." Admiral Taewon considered this. "Is it possible?" Sunmi nodded slowly. "The theoretical work is sound. We've already built prototype generators for the next generation of void ships. She paused. But we need time to implement it across the fleet. Time, the Admiral repeated. That's the one resource the Union has. Their territory is vast. Even at our current pace of destruction, it would take years to eliminate them completely. He straightened. How long? 3 weeks for the first ship. 2 months for the entire fleet. The Admiral nodded. Make it happen. In the meantime, we'll need to slow our offensive operations and focus on defending what we've taken. Sunmi returned to her work, knowing that the future of humanity's vengeance now rested on her shoulders. Dr. Young-hee stood before the assembled fleet commanders on the bridge of the inevitable darkness. As head of Earth's psychological warfare division, she rarely left her research facility, but what she had developed demanded a personal presentation. The Union has adapted to our void technology faster than expected, she began. While Engineer Sunmi develops our phase-shifting capabilities, we need a strategy to keep them off balance. She gestured, and a holographic map of Union space appeared. I present to you the Phantom Fleet. Thousands of small dots appeared throughout Union territory on the map. These are specially designed void technology beacons, Young-hee explained. Each one can mimic the energy signature of a human warship about to attack. We will scatter them throughout Union space and activate them in random patterns. Fleet Commander Minsu leaned forward. You want to make them think we're everywhere at once? Young-hee nodded. Exactly. The Union will spread their forces thin, desperately defending against attacks that never materialize. Meanwhile, our real fleet can focus on critical targets. Admiral Taewon studied the plan carefully. How many of these beacons can we deploy? 10,000 in the first wave, Young-hee replied. Each no larger than my fist. Our stealth courier ships can deploy them without detection. The Admiral smiled for the first time in months. Make it so. Let them chase ghosts while we prepare our next evolution. Commander Daeho looked out at the strange distortion of space that marked the approach to the galaxy's center. His ship, the Retribution, had been modified for this mission. The gravitational lance had been reversed, creating a field that would theoretically protect the ship from the crushing forces ahead. Status report, he ordered. Navigator June answered from his station. We are at the edge of the black hole's influence. Gravitational shield is functioning, but already at 60% capacity. The artificial structure is detectable at the center of the distortion. Daeho nodded. The Union's quantum communication hub, hidden inside an artificial construct within, a manufactured black hole, the ultimate protected server meant to be unreachable by any enemy. Begin approach, he commanded. Full power to gravitational shields. The Retribution moved forward, its modified systems straining against the immense forces pulling at it. The crew felt the pressure despite the shield's gravity tugging at their bodies with increasing strength. Structure now clearly visible, reported Science Officer Yoon-ji. It appears to be a sphere approximately 5 kilometers in diameter, suspended, at the exact center of the black hole. On the main view screen they could see it, a gleaming metallic ball, somehow stable in the heart of swirling destruction. Connecting to it were thousands of tiny threads of energy, the quantum links that tied the entire Union communication network together. Prepare the chronometric charge, Daeho ordered. We'll have one chance to deploy it. The chronometric charge was Engineer Sunmi's most theoretical weapon yet, a device that could disrupt the flow of time itself within a limited area. If it worked, it would create a cascading temporal implosion throughout the quantum-entangled Union systems. Charge ready, reported Weapons Officer Jin. But sir, deployment range is only 500 meters from the target. At that distance, he didn't need to finish. Everyone on the bridge knew. At that range, the gravitational forces would tear the ship apart before they could escape. Daeho stood from his command chair. I'll take the shuttle. The rest of you will withdraw to safe distance once I launch. A stunned silence fell over the bridge. First Officer Seok stepped forward. Sir, that's a suicide mission. It's the only way, Daeho replied calmly. The shuttle's smaller mass will allow it to approach closer before being crushed. just enough time to deploy the charge and activate it. He looked around at his crew. This is what we've trained for. The Union killed 50 million of our people. What is one life against that? As the crew prepared the shuttle, Daeho recorded a final message to be transmitted back to Earth. He spoke of duty and sacrifice, of the future he hoped his death would secure for humanity. The small shuttle launched from the Retribution, carrying its lone pilot and the weapon that could change the course of the war. As the main ship began its withdrawal, Daeho pushed the shuttle's engines to maximum, diving toward the heart of the black hole. Gravity crushed against the small craft. Warning lights flashed across the control panel. Systems failed one by one. But the shuttle continued its descent, guided by Daeho's steady hand. 500 meters from the target, the hull groaned. 400. The viewports began to crack. 300. The engines failed. But momentum carried the shuttle forward. 200 meters. Daeho activated the chronometric charge and set the timer for 10 seconds. Just enough. Time. 100 meters. The shuttle began to break apart around him. Daeho closed his eyes, thinking of Earth, of New Terra, of 50 million innocent lives. 0. The chronometric charge detonated. Time and space twisted impossibly around the Union's communication hub. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, the gleaming sphere at the center of the black hole shuddered. Cracks spread across its surface. The quantum threads connected to it began to snap one by one, and throughout known space on every Union world and ship, their advanced technology suddenly went dark. Admiral Taewan stood on the bridge of the inevitable darkness, watching as reports flooded in from across the galaxy. The chronometric charge had worked beyond all expectations. The Union's quantum communication network had not merely been disabled, it had been shattered at a fundamental level. Status report, he ordered. Science Officer Hyun-Ki looked up from his console. Complete system failure across all Union territories, Admiral. Their ships are blind, unable to communicate with each other. Their automated defense systems have shut down. Even their basic technology is failing as the temporal disruption spreads through their quantum-entangled systems. The Admiral nodded, his face showing no emotion despite the magnitude of their victory. And Commander Daeho? Hyun-Ki lowered his eyes. No escape signature detected from the black hole, sir. He succeeded in his mission, but at the cost of his life. A moment of silence fell across the bridge. Then Admiral Taewan straightened his shoulders. Send word to all fleet commanders. Operation Extinction begins now. No more strategic targets. No more military objectives. Every Union world is to be cleansed. Every Union ship destroyed. Leave nothing. The orders went out. Across the galaxy, the Void Fleet, now upgraded with Sunmi's phase-shifting technology, prepared for the final campaign. Captain Jisoo led the attack on Centaurus Prime, the last major Union stronghold. What remained of the alien leadership had gathered there in a desperate final stand. Once a thriving center of Union power, the planet was now surrounded by the darkness of Earth's void ships. All ships in position, reported her tactical officer. The Union forces have erected emergency energy shields around their central government complex, but without their quantum network, the shields are operating at minimal capacity. Jisoo nodded. Deploy the ships in formation sphere. Prepare gravitational lances for synchronized firing. The void ships moved into position, surrounding the planet in a perfect spherical formation. 500 ships, each capable of unleashing destruction beyond anything the Union had ever experienced. On the planet below, the remaining Union leaders watched with growing dread as their sensor systems detected the human fleet. These were the beings who had once dismissed humans as primitive savages, unworthy of consideration in galactic affairs. Now they huddled in fear, waiting for the end. They're broadcasting a message, Captain, said the communications officer. Put it through, Jisoo ordered. The view screen flickered to life, showing an alien with pale blue skin and multiple eyes. The Supreme Counselor of the Galactic Union, once the most powerful being in known space. Humans, the alien's voice trembled. We surrender. Unconditionally. Spare our people and we will give you anything you desire. Territory, technology, resources, anything. Jisoo stared at the alien coldly. Did you offer surrender terms to the people of New Terra before you wiped them out? Did you consider sparing the 50 million humans on that world? The alien flinched. That was a mistake. A terrible mistake. We acknowledge our wrongdoing. Too late, Jisoo replied. Earth does not accept your surrender. Earth does not want your territory or resources. Earth wants you gone. She cut the transmission and turned to her weapons officer. Fire. 500 gravitational lances fired simultaneously, converging on the planet from all directions. The effect was more than simply destructive. As the beams intersected at the planet's core, they created a gravitational implosion of unprecedented power. The planet compressed, matter folding in on itself until it reached a critical point. Then, in a flash of energy visible across half the galaxy, Centaurus Prime exploded. Where a world had stood moments before, nothing remained but scattered debris. The last significant power center of the Galactic Union was gone. Ambassador Ju Ri stood before the gathered representatives of the minor alien species that had allied with Earth during the war. The meeting room on the last opportunity was filled to capacity. Some of these beings had been oppressed by the Union for thousands of years. Now they watched the humans with a mixture of awe and fear. The Union is no more, Ju Ri announced. Their central worlds have been destroyed, their fleets eliminated, their technology rendered useless. The extinction is nearly complete. A tall, gray-skinned alien stepped forward. What happens now, Ambassador? Will humanity take the Union's place as rulers of the galaxy? Ju Ri shook her head. No. Earth has no interest in empire. We fought for vengeance, not conquest. She gestured to a holographic map showing the galaxy. Each of your species will retain independence. The territories once held by the Union will be left unclaimed, open for settlement by any who wish to develop them. Murmurs spread through the crowd. Another representative spoke up. And what guarantee do we have that humans will not turn on us next? You have demonstrated power beyond anything we imagined possible. You have only one guarantee, Ju Ri replied calmly. Do not threaten Earth. Do not dismiss us as primitive or unworthy. Treat humans with respect, and we will do the same. She paused. This galaxy has seen enough war to last a millennium. Earth wishes to focus on rebuilding and exploration. She looked around the room, meeting the eyes of each representative. Let this be a lesson written in the stars themselves. Humanity will not be dismissed. Humanity will not be subjugated. And humanity never, ever forgets. The message was clear. Earth would not seek dominion over these species, but neither would it tolerate any challenge to its newfound position as the most feared power in known space. As the dust of war settled, the Void Fleet, now numbering in the thousands, patrolled the silent expanses of what was once Union territory. Admiral Taewan had ordered a thorough sweep of every sector, ensuring no pocket of Union resistance remained. Engineer Sunmi walked the quiet halls of the Retribution. The ship had been recovered after Commander Daeho's sacrifice, repaired, and assigned to her as a research vessel. His presence still seemed to linger in the corridors. She found herself on the observation deck, staring out at the stars. The same stars that had looked so cold and distant before the war now seemed somehow different. Humanity had written its name among them in fire and destruction. The door slid open behind her. Admiral Taewan entered, looking older than when the war began. The final reports are in, he said quietly. The Union has been completely eradicated. Not a single major world remains, not a single warship. After 5,000 years of dominance, they are now extinct. Sunmi continued to stare at the stars. Was this justice, Admiral? Or have we become what we sought to destroy? The Admiral was silent for a long moment. They killed 50 million of our people without declaration of war, without negotiation. They saw us as insects to be crushed beneath their heel. He sighed. But yes, I have asked myself the same question. And your answer? My answer is that it doesn't matter. We did what was necessary to ensure humanity's survival. History will judge us, but our species will live on. Sunmi turned to face him. The phase-shifting technology we developed, it could be used for more than war. We could explore regions of space no one has ever reached. We could build settlements in previously uninhabitable areas. The Admiral nodded slowly. Yes, perhaps that is the next chapter for humanity. Not conquest, but discovery. He placed a hand on her shoulder. We secured our right to exist. Now we must decide how to use it. As they stood there, looking out at the galaxy that humanity had forever changed, a message arrived from Earth. The unified governments had voted. The Void Fleet would transition from a war footing to exploration and defense. The extinction was complete. The vengeance satisfied. Now humanity would turn its terrible focus and determination to other pursuits. And the rest of the galaxy watched, and remembered and feared. For Earth had proven beyond doubt that even the most advanced civilizations should think twice before dismissing humans as primitive. The void, dark battle fleet that had brought extinction to known space now guarded humanity's future among the stars, a future that no one would dare threaten again. End of story.